The Metaphysical Poets, an introduction. Samuel Johnson wrote in reference to the beginning of the 17th century that there appeared a race of writers that may be termed the metaphysical poets. Widely regarded in the years since as a distinct poetical movement, it is interesting to note that from what we now know, the metaphysical poets did not, in the main, read or know one another. Samuel Johnson was not an admirer of the group, as he decried their distinct lack of the decorum of the day and stylistic impurity. But the poems here testify that it bands together a wonderful group of poets, and their poems in an inspiring and thought-provoking volume. Our readers include Richard Mitchley and Ghizela Rowe.
The Spring, by Thomas Carew. Now that the winter's gone, the earth has lost her snow-white robes, and now no more the frost candies the grass, or casts an icy cream upon the silver lake or crystal stream. But the warm sun thaws the benumbed earth, and makes it tender, gives a sacred birth to the dead swallow, wakes in hollow tree the drowsy cuckoo and the humble-bee. Now do a choir of chirping minstrels bring in triumph to the world the youthful spring. The valleys, hills, and woods in rich array welcome the coming of the longed-for May. Now all things smile, only my love doth lour. Nor hath the scalding noonday sun the power to melt that marble ice, which still doth hold her heart congealed, and makes her pity cold. The ox, which lately did for shelter fly into the stall, doth now securely lie in open fields. And love no more is made by the fireside, but in the cooler shade Amyntas now doth with his Chloris sleep under a sycamore, and all things keep time with the season. Only she doth carry June in her eyes, in her heart January.
A Supplication by Abraham Cowley. Awake, awake, my lyre, and tell thy silent master's humble tale in sounds that may prevail. Sounds that gentle thoughts inspire, though so exalted she and I so lowly be, tell her such different notes make all thy harmony. Hark how the strings awake, and though the moving hand approach not near, themselves with awful fear a kind of numerous trembling make. Now all thy forces try, now all thy charms apply, revenge upon her ear the conquests of her eye. Weak lyre, thy virtue sure is useless here, since thou art only found to cure, but not to wound, and she to wound, but not to cure. Too weak, too wilt thou prove my passion to remove. Physic to other ills, thou art nourishment to love. Sleep, sleep again, my lyre, for thou canst never tell my humble tale in sounds that will prevail. Nor gentle thoughts in her inspire, all thy vain mirth lay by, bid thy strings silent lie. Sleep, sleep again, my lyre, and let thy master die.
To a Mistress Dying by William Davenant. Lover, your beauty ripe and calm and fresh as eastern summers are, must now, forsaking time and flesh, add light to some small star. Philosopher, whilst yet she lives, were stars decayed, their light by hers relief might find, but death will lead her to a shade where love is cold and beauty blind. Lover, lovers whose priests all poets are, think every mistress when she dies is changed at least into a star, and who dares doubt the poet's wise? Philosopher, but ask not bodies doomed to die to what abode they go. Since knowledge is but sorrow's spy, it is not safe to know.
The Relic by John Donne. When my grave is broke up again, some second guest to entertain, for graves have learned that woman had to be to more than one a bed. And he that digs it spies a bracelet of bright hair about the bone. Will he not let us alone? and think that there a loving couple lies, who thought that this device might be some way to make their souls, at the last busy day, meet at this grave, and make a little stay. If this fall in a time or land, where misdevotion both command, then he that digs us up will bring us to the bishop and the king, to make us relics. Then thou shalt be a Mary Magdalene, and I a something else thereby. All women shall adore us, and some men, and since at such time miracles are sought, I would have that age by this paper taught, what miracles we harmless lovers wrought. First, we loved well and faithfully, yet knew not what we loved nor why. Difference of sex no more we knew than our guardian angels do. Coming and going, we perchance might kiss, but not between those meals. Our hands never touched the seals which nature, injured by late law, sets free. These miracles we did, but now, alas, all measure and all language I should pass, should I tell what a miracle she was.
Faith by George Herbert. Lord, how couldst thou so much appease thy wrath for sin, as when man's sight was dim, and could see little to regard his ease, and bring by faith all things to him? Hungry I was, and had no meat. I did conceit a most delicious feast. I had it straight, and did as truly eat as ever did a welcome guest. There is a rare outlandish root, which when I could not get, I thought it here. That apprehension cured so well my foot, that I can walk to heaven well near. I owed thousands and much more. I did believe that I did nothing owe, and lived accordingly. My creditor believes so too, and lets me go. Faith makes me anything, or all that I believe is in the sacred story. And where sin placeth me in Adam's fall, faith sets me higher in his glory. If I go lower in the book, what can be lower than the common manger? Faith puts me there with him who sweetly took our flesh and frailty, death and danger. If bliss had lien in art or strength, none but the wise or strong had gained it. Where now, by faith, all arms are of a length, one size doth all conditions fit. A peasant may believe as much as a great clerk, and reach the highest stature. Thus dost thou make proud knowledge bend and crouch, while grace fills up uneven nature. When creatures had no real light inherent in them, thou didst make the sun impute a lustre, and allow them bright, and in this show what Christ hath done. That which before was darkened clean with bushy groves, pricking the looker's eye, vanished away when faith did change the scene, and then appeared a glorious sky. What though my body run to dust, faith cleaves unto it, counting every grain with an exact and most particular trust, reserving all for flesh again.
On Shakespeare by John Milton. What needs my Shakespeare for his honoured bones the labour of an age in piled stones, or that his hallowed relics should be hid under a star-appointing pyramid? Dear son of memory, great heir of fame, what needst thou such weak witness of thy name? Thou in our wonder and astonishment hast built thyself a livelong monument. For whilst to the shame of slow endeavouring art thy easy numbers flow, and that each heart hath from the leaves of thy unvalued book those Delphic lines with deep impression took, then thou, our fancy of itself bereaving, dost make us marble with too much conceiving, and so sepulchred in such pomp dost lie, that kings for such a tomb would wish to die.
Celia, Sleeping or Singing by Thomas Stanley. Roses in breathing forth their scent, or stars their borrowed ornament, nymphs in the watery sphere that move, or angels in their orbs above, the winged chariot of the light, or the slow silent wheels of night, the shade which from the swifter sun doth in a circular motion run, or souls at their eternal rest do keep, make far more noise than Celia's breath in sleep. But if the angel which inspires this subtle frame with active fires should mould this breath to words, and those into harmony dispose, the music of this heavenly sphere would steal each soul out at the ear, and into plants and stones infuse a life the cherubim would choose, and with new powers invert the laws of fate, kill those that live, and dead things animate.